Hey, I'm Doug Miles. Welcome back to YouTube. Here's another one of my interviews I've done recently on radio here in Sarasota, Florida. This one with author Marc Elliot. The name of the book, American Rebel, The Life of Clint Eastwood. Hope you enjoy it. Great pleasure right now to welcome to the program best-selling author from the New York Times. He's written so many great books, particularly in the world of show business and popular culture. His latest is called The American Rebel, The Life of Clint Eastwood. We're joined now by Marc Elliot from the great city of New York today. Marc, thanks for being with us. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to talk to you, and I've been enjoying reading the book since I got it a week or so ago. And I'm trying to think. I don't think too many people have written much of anything about Clint Eastwood, at least in depth. It must have been kind of interesting for you to approach the subject.
It was, and you know, I like to write about people who change the field that they're in. And in film, Clint is such an important force as an actor, as a producer, as a director, and he's somebody who really has come to represent an iconic vision of what the American hero is on screen.
You've done other books about similar type of actors, maybe not personality-wise, but those types of actors like Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart, who represented certain things to people, and Clint Eastwood definitely falls into that category. I guess he's probably the last of that breed, isn't he?
I would say so. Certainly the last producer, director, actor who can create his own studio and use it as his personal canvas. Those days are really almost gone. Film is made today in backroom deals, and Hollywood serves as mainly a distribution center or for the production of television. Clint really represents somebody who was able to do something in a period of time when it was possible to do, and that is to create his own studio. The only one who did it successfully before him in the service of himself was Charlie Chaplin on the other side of the studio era. Chaplin really played one character throughout his entire career, the tramp, and Orson Welles tried to do it but was less successful at running his own studio and doing what he wanted to do. But Clint has managed since forming Malpazzo, I guess to do Hang 'em High, that to really make the films that he's wanted to make. And so on that level, he rises or falls without any excuses. And I think he's risen beautifully and really carved out a niche for himself in Hollywood that is unique and highly successful.
You go back to his early work on television, and then last year with Gran Torino. Here's a man in his late 70s right now, and he's at the top of his game still. Not too many people in show business can say that, can they? Particularly in the movie industry.
Well, Gran Torino really represents an extension of the same characters he's always played. In a way, he seems like, I think he's a retired law official, law enforcement official. So he's kind of an older version of Dirty Harry.
Right.
And he's a loner. The wife has died, just like in Dirty Harry and in The Man with No Name, Fistful of Dollars. So here you have an actor able, going into his 80th year, to play the same character he played when he was 30, and to pull it off in a believable and original way. But essentially, what he does is, he's a loner, he's on his own, the Chinese, the Mongs, run into problems, and he rides in on a white horse, only here it's a white truck. He shoots the bad guys, and in this film he dies, which is unusual for Clint, but saves and redeems himself by saving others. That's the Clint Eastwood modus operandi, very much intact.
You talk about in the book his upbringing, and if you didn't know anything about him, you'd kind of figure maybe he was from the East Coast, maybe New York or Philadelphia, one of those kind of cities. But he grew up Northern California, didn't he?
That's right. He grew up in the Oakland area, and he was a tough kid. He was a depression baby, and his parents moved around a lot. They were never really financially secure, and that made Clint a loner, the beginning of his loner personality. And until he went into the Army, he hung out in bars, picked up women, ran with a tough crowd, and then on top of all of that, became a pretty good jazz pianist. He really loved to play the piano in these dives in Northern California. But it was the Army that kind of gave him some focus. And while he was in the Army, he met a lot of guys, David Jansen, Marty Milner, who wanted to be actors and said to him, look, you're a good-looking guy. Don't go back to pumping gas or whatever you were doing. When you get out of the Army, come down to Universal, and we're sure that you can sign on as a part of the studio player system, which is exactly what he did. So he took his rawness, his toughness, which makes you think that he was an East Coast guy, I think, and was able to convert it into something that opened up that well of creativity that was waiting to explode.
Really. You mentioned the musical background, and a few years ago he did the movie about Charlie Parker and Bridges of Madison County. He wrote a lot of the music for that. He's a very talented musician.
Well, he's an accomplished pianist, Clint, and loved Charlie Parker and saw in Charlie Parker another kind of rebel. He saw someone who lived life on his own terms and was redeemed by his talent. I mean, in many ways, the Charlie Parker film, Bird, is the Clint Eastwood story, just told through a different character. But he identifies with that, and he identifies with most of the characters that he makes because he chooses them. He's able to choose what he wants to do through his own studio, and therefore his films are, by nature, highly autobiographical, no matter what the actual plots are.
I know we have limited time today, but if there's one thing maybe that would have surprised you doing the research on this book about him that might surprise the audience, what would one of those things be?
Well, he was never a romantic leading man, and that's something new that he brought to American film, is that you could be a hero without being a ladies' man. And while off-screen he was, on-screen he managed to bring the aspect of the loner to new creative heights, and that's something new. That changed the business. That opened up the door for a lot of actors to play alienation in a way that it hasn't been played before. And I think that's his lasting contribution, is the creation of the loner who is the hero.
Fascinating book, fascinating man, Clint Eastwood. The name of the book is American Rebel, The Life of Clint Eastwood. We've been talking with Marc Elliot. Marc, pleasure to have a few minutes to talk to you. Hopefully we'll do it again down the road, but thanks for being with us today. And for more of my interviews, you can check out my channel, Flora Park Kid, right here on YouTube. We'll see you again real soon.